but not you. I said good lawyer.
Player one wins.
Hello everybody, this is Kagato, the final boss. Welcome to my 4th episode of Courtroom Drama, the show where I violently point fingers at people with the power of extreme justice, along with the occasional gunshots and throwing of cars. I have both good news and bad news. The bad news is my typical ending segment of the show is left out for this week. But the good news is, it's because I haven't gotten a single bit of hate mail at all this week. The devilish side of me is sad because hate mail is always good for a laugh, but deep down it's good to know that people are starting to mature a little bit more. Though, as you saw in the opening, I'm still getting teabagged from losses. However, I've started to refrain from teabagging, even against those who I feel deserve it. After all, the old saying goes, lead by example. I may say I don't like teabagging, but it kinda hurts my case when I do it as well, regardless of the reason. However, fun fact, the guy that was teabagging me at the start of this video, he's on my friends list now, so we kinda made up. Anyway, that's pretty much all I want to talk in regards to that stuff. Right now, I want to discuss my personal opinions on some things I'd like to see changed in regards to the characters that I use. I've been using these characters for a while now, and I've been using Wesker and She-Hulk since day one of Vanilla. I also used Chun-Li in Vanilla, but I basically replaced her with Phoenix Wright. I love Chun-Li to death, but I just think that she takes too much execution to do enough damage that competes with other characters who can do the same amount of damage with far less execution. I'm sorry, but Chun-Li, for some reason, just doesn't seem to do well in these versus games. She's great in Street Fighter. My god, is she great in Street Fighter. But here, not so much. Oh well. Anyway, firstly, let's talk about Wesker. In everyone's opinion, Wesker is arguably the absolute best non-leveling character in the game. Though one could argue that breaking it or removing his glasses would be a form of leveling up. It's not a raw transformation like Phoenix Wright, Jean Grey, and Frank West. Wesker is, in my honest opinion, at the top of the tier list. If somebody were to make one, a real one, then he'd probably be at the very top. If not the very top, then somewhere very, very close. But it's going to be a while before we see an official tier list. A good long while. There's too many factors in this game to consider. I know Japan came out with one recently, but I think even that one's ridiculous. Anyway, but I digress. Wesker was already one of the absolute best characters in Vanilla. So what did Capcom do? They decided that he should get a speed and strength boost when his glasses are broken or removed. Honestly, the best way to balance Wesker is to remove that little buff. That's really all that needs to be done. Of course, I could go as far as say, oh, maybe put limitation on teleporting like Deadpool has for all teleporting characters as well, but I think that might be asking too much, and many people would probably start throwing things at me. So, for right now, I say just remove his glasses buff. It wasn't necessary to add. Okay, Wesker's out of the way, let's talk about the big green giantess herself, She-Hulk. There's only one question I have for Capcom. If her slide was so overpowered, why on earth did they just give that slide to other characters? Hawkeye's is especially ridiculous. Considering how enormously athletic She-Hulk is supposed to be, she's got one terrible slide now. There are also a few things I've noticed about She-Hulk that I feel needs changing. First of all, that lamppost really needs armor, and I would love to also see it cancel into other things. Imagine this, if you will. Wouldn't it be nice to take a plasma beam to the face, only to keep swinging that lamppost, hitting Doom with it, and immediately cancel it into a run to start your resets? That'd be great. Otherwise, it's pretty useless. I just use it for giggles. It's like, okay, well, the opponent has one hit left until he's dead. I got She-Hulk and Wesker left with full health. I'm just going to try and aim for a lamppost kill just because I can. Just one of those situations. If somebody has an idea of how to use the lamppost in the middle of a good, difficult fight, let me know. I'd love to find out. Also, I wish to reduce the cooldown time on her standing heavy by just a little bit. I've tried this in training mode, doing a standing ABC combo that would try and lead into her forward heavy, which I believe is her hook punch. I was thinking, hey, that'd be a great thing to lead into to extend the combo. Nope. Opponent, computer blocked it every time. Very, very sad. So maybe reducing the downtime on that kick might help a little bit more. And lastly, I feel that her clothesline should probably use a couple more frames of armor. But that's just my own personal preference. I mean, She-Hulk has amazing resets, and if timed right, you can keep the opponent at your mercy until his health reaches 0. But there are just some tools of hers that I think really could have been better planned. But that aside, let's talk about the main thing, Phoenix Wright. I've thought about this a lot, and even discussed it among many people plenty of times, but in the end, Phoenix Wright is seriously one of those characters that is on the thinnest line between being terrible and being overpowered. Still, there are changes I'd like to see to make him at least a little bit more dangerous in whatever form he's in. Most notably, investigation and trial mode, which I think the buffs should be focused on. I mean, yeah, I could ask for a longer turnabout mode or having the crouching heavy finger be a low hit, but that might be a little bit too much. So, first let's go through some of the obvious ones. Returning his invincible assist in turnabout mode or even adding super armor to it, that would be great. Increasing the range on his normals even by a little bit, that'd be nice. And of course, finding good evidence an easier thing to do, so you get a better chance at getting good evidence than you do right now. Those would all be great, and those are the popular suggestions. But here's one that I've seen some people make that I think is ingenious and would greatly increase Wright's potential. The ability to throw or use evidence in the air. Now, this does two things for him. Firstly, it increases his mobility so he isn't a fully grounded character all the time. Secondly, it helps against situations where opponents that are out of reach and you don't have the cell phone. Imagine this. Morgan is flying in the corner and throwing fireballs at you, and you can't bring her down without a cell phone. Now, imagine being able to super jump to her level and launch a knife attack. That would shut down a lot of running tactics. Especially that Morgan that's up there in the corner. Also, using paperwork in the air would be great as well. And finally, this is just a personal thing. I would love for the recovery time after order in the court to be reduced, because if gathering evidence is key to Wright's success, every second counts. And having a little less downtime after this type would make a big difference. But, really, do you guys disagree or agree on any of these? Do you have anything that you'd like to add or change? Let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear what you guys think. Anyway, let's talk about some of these matches here. So, I got Ryu in Ace Attorney. I found him guilty for having enormously huge gorilla feet. Then again, all Street Fighter characters seem to have massive feet. In fact, I think it spawned a new era of foot fetishes. In fact, I think Juri Han alone caused that to happen. But I don't care, she's hot anyway, even if she is sadistic and crazy. Okay, so the next match here is against that guy who was featured at the very, very start. The guy that teabagged me in the beginning of the video. And I did say that he is on my friends list now. So he's actually not that bad of a guy. He's pretty cool. I don't know why he teabagged me. I never really asked him, but I'm not going to bring it up. So he's using Chris, Tron, and Ghost Rider. And Chris, man, I do wish that more people would use Chris. I love Chris Redfield. I'm a Chris fan. I know a lot of people love Leon, but I love Chris Redfield. I like Jill more, but Chris Redfield is the main hero, the ultimate hero of Resident Evil, but I digress. So I got Phoenix Wright in turnabout mode already. I take down Ghost Rider, who I think is the biggest threat on his team, simply because of his ridiculous reach. And I don't think he fully knows how he's using Chris right now, but I die from chip damage, so there goes Phoenix Wright. I did save this video for a reason. It's for what I did with She-Hulk here in a moment. Now right there, as they were activating their Team Hyper, I jabbed really quickly, so it canceled them both out. So he's just trying to spam all of his hypers to try and take down She-Hulk as quickly as he can, but now he's all out of bars, he's completely empty. So now here comes Tron at full health, and Tron has a lot. So that's one reset right there. Now I'm getting him into another reset. And there's the second taking out the trash. Now he's in very critical health, and I'm still going. I still got plenty of meters. However, this time he techs the other direction, but I managed to catch him that way. And that's the end of Tron. So as long as She-Hulk has hyperbars and has hit somebody, she can keep it going. As long as you tech, or as long as you aim in the correct direction with her command grabs, then you can catch him every time. Now right there, I just wanted to hit him with the lamppost. He was low. But I love this. Here comes the grenade for an epic explosive finish. So, that wasn't an exciting fight by difficulty standards, but I wanted to include it just because of that She-Hulk reset stuff that I was doing. Wesker and Sentinel. So Phoenix Wright's already having a bit of a bad. So I bring in Wesker to try and clear up a little bit. So I decided to beat down on Dormammu a bit. And right there, I wanted to follow up with the Hyper, but I messed up, but I still managed to keep the combo going. And I missed the launching. So if I had only hit that, then Dormammu would have died, and then Phoenix Wright wouldn't have died later, because he's going to pay for it big time. Phoenix Wright, that is. So here comes Sentinel, who is a little bit easier to control when you're Wesker, because I think the matchup is highly in Wesker's favor there. So I'm able to get a couple pieces of evidence here. Dormammu decides to change out here. There we go. And here comes Wesker. So I already got a piece of evidence I need. I land the objection, and now Wesker's in a bad situation. So I juggled Wesker a couple times. I really got to find out a different way to do that, because I keep on doing the same kind of finger combo and then leading into evidence. I got to do something else. Now here's the situation where Phoenix Wright is now in trouble. He just X-Factored into Stalking Flare, and then I think that's Purification? I think that's what it is. Well, I do the kick. I believe that I believe she just went through the fire, or maybe the fire died out right as she attacked. But either way, I managed to hit and kill Dormammu. But here comes X-Factored Wesker without glasses. I throw out Emerald Cannon when he teleported. By accident, I must admit, but it works out. And I led into Maximum Wesker, however, I completely screwed up doing another Maximum Wesker, but that's okay. I managed to land the hit anyway. So that was a fun fight. I always like fighting Dormammus. They're difficult, but they're not rage-inducing for me. I love fighting Dormammus. But here's somebody that does induce rage. I hate Virgil. I really do. I hate Virgil so much. But I managed to grab all three pieces of good evidence really quickly. I got my trial mode going, so all I gotta do is land an objection. But I'm taking a little bit too much damage, so here comes She-Hulk to take a quick beating for a bit and deal whatever damage she can. Though I'm getting comboed a little bit too much there. I managed to land a command grab, and now he's at my mercy. There's the objection, so here we go. Now my team is at its absolute best. Right there, I completely missed the clothesline combo that I like to do. But that's okay. I still managed to get him a couple of times, although here comes Ghost Rider, which I'm seeing a lot more of lately. I like Ghost Rider as a character. By the way, the new movie, I'm sure there are fans of Ghost Rider, and I've not seen either of the movies, but Rotten Tomatoes has the new Ghost Rider movie as very, very bad. And when it comes to comic book movies, usually if Rotten Tomatoes says it's bad, it's probably bad. Which is a shame. I love Ghost Rider. I'm a recent fan of his. Anyway, there goes Ghost Rider, chipped to death by Phoenix Wright. Now here's Wesker, who I'm going to try and chip to death some more. And I catch him into another finger-pointing combo. Keep on chipping him. And right there, that shouldn't have killed him from chip damage, so I think he lowered his guard down right there. So here comes Virgil. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Virgil, I hate your face! So Phoenix Wright's almost dead. But for some reason, I don't call him out. I'm still using him. I guess I really wanted to kill him with Phoenix Wright, but guess what? That didn't work out too well. So Phoenix Wright's now down. But that's okay, I still got Wesker and She-Hulk. I guard that. Now he's completely wide open for a maximum Wesker, which has been powered up by X-Factor. And that's the end of Virgil. A good game overall. Though, why Virgil? That reach, the teleports, the ridiculousness. I hate you! Alright. Team Devil May Cry, and oh my god, that Trish costume. Ugh. I hate her other costume. It makes her look trashy, but this one, good friggin' god. That is one of the hottest costumes for any girl on this game. Anyway, I'm in a bad situation here. It's 3 Devil May Cry characters against Phoenix Wright, and Phoenix Wright does badly against all of them in turnabout mode. I try my best, but Phoenix Wright is now dead. But She-Hulk doesn't really take that too well. So here comes the angry resets. Command grab right there. I keep on doing a combo. I'm trying to conserve my hyper bar, so I managed to grab with the command grab each time, so I don't actually have to use taking out the trash every time. It's a little bit more reliable, but I don't have to use a hyper that way. So right there, if he didn't call out that glyph, he might have been able to hit me with the hyper, but he didn't. So right there, I realized that if the opponent is even the slightest bit above the ground, I can still grab them with that hyper. So I learned the correct timing to be able to bring out Wesker in order to finish up the off the ground to help me continue my combo. Because originally when I was in training mode, I completely screwed up the timing on it every time, because every time I was doing an air combo with She-Hulk, I would just do the medium, heavy special all immediately back to back. But if I delayed a little bit, then I'd be able to get Wesker out and manage to land me off the ground. So it's helped me quite a bit in extending my combos and dealing a little bit more damage and building more meter. So yay, I'm slowly but surely getting better at this game. I still only consider myself average at best. A lot of people have been messaging me on PlayStation Network or on YouTube saying how amazing they think I am in my videos. Honestly, guys, I'm still learning, and I'm not considering myself a great player. I'm just doing what I can, and I'm always trying to learn. So right here, there's an interesting story with this guy. We've had 2 matches before this one. The first match I won, the second match he won. Now the reason I didn't save either of those matches is because the first match where I did win, I didn't save it because I wasn't expecting to have to record, because when I joined the lobby, it said he was a beginner, and he had 0 stats everywhere. He even had the gray emblem, like he was a brand new player. So I didn't think much of him, but then I started to fight him, and then he started using Chun-Li and pulling out ridiculous stuff. So props to this guy for learning how to use Chun-Li very well. I love Chun-Li to death, and he certainly knows how to use her. I think it was like a 50-hit combo eventually. It was really, really good. I don't even know how I managed to win that one. The second one, though, there was a lot of lag. That's the reason I didn't save that one. And then this one, we had good connection for most of the match. There is some lag here, and you'll see that. But I wanted to make sure that I got rid of Chun-Li as quickly as I could, because he was able to deal a lot of damage with her. Although Morgan isn't that less scary. In fact, you'll see what I mean here soon. Now, Akuma, I will admit, in this fight, if it weren't for some laggy situations, his Akuma might have lived a little bit longer. And you'll see here in a moment. I mean, look at this lag. His timing is completely off. I mean, both of us are suffering badly, but because I'm Wesker, I'm just more naturally better than Akuma is. So if he didn't throw out that punch, he wouldn't have left himself open, but I blame lag on that. So I do admit that was lag's fault, not me being better or anything. That was all lag right there. Anyway, here comes X Factor Morrigan with her mirror self, and this is going to be a bad situation for me. Yes, it does look like I have her on the ropes, but just watch. She just rolls forward, here comes the jabs. Wesker is dead. He is not getting out of that mess. However, I do have 3 bars of Hyper Lefty. Who is here? Phoenix Wright. Just wait for her to do one thing other than holding back and launch that Ace Attorney, which managed to hit. So there goes Morrigan. If I didn't have 3 bars, I wouldn't have been able to make it, because look at the evidence that I had. Well, you can't see it now. I guess you can go back and take a look, but it was the worst kind of evidence. I think that was the worst possible evidence set. I think it was the watch, the photo, and the document. That's the worst group. You need at least something that goes high, like the knife or the vase, or especially the cell phone. Anyway, now here's the last match of the night, the day, whatever you guys are watching this. And this guy also uses Phoenix Wright. I met him in the lobby. We talked a little bit, and he's a pretty cool guy. Although the matches that we did play, I didn't allow him to use Phoenix Wright that much. As a Phoenix Wright player, I know how dangerous Phoenix Wright can really be as long as you get the right evidence. It's really crazy. So, right now he's using Deadpool and Rocket Raccoon. His Rocket Raccoon is respectable. I like what he does. Although I think he could use some of his tools a little bit more than just the basic stuff. His Deadpool, however, takes the cake. His Deadpool is one of the better ones I've seen. And he uses him, and along with Rocket Raccoon, with really good synergy. Right there, he's used, I believe, both of his teleports. So now the next time he teleports, it's going to explode. But keep that in mind for later. So right now he calls in Rocket Raccoon. I combo into a command grab, which I honestly admit that was an accident, but it ended up working out anyway. So I managed to land the objection, and here comes Deadpool again. So he's really trying to save Phoenix Wright for some reason. I guess it's because Wesker's still alive. Oh, that log trap. Okay, so I bring in She-Hulk, and I keep on beating down on Deadpool. Although right there, I tried to call the car to finish off Deadpool, but he calls in Phoenix Wright right beforehand. So Phoenix Wright just takes the car to the face. And I just continue to combo against him. I launch him up, and I command grab him right there, wait for the shield to go down, then I continue the combo. So he texts the other way. I managed to turn in time and catch him with another taking out the trash. So this just goes to show you, unless you got something that can really protect you up there after you recover, then you're pretty much at the mercy of She-Hulk's grabs. It's not a surefire thing for her, because there have been many times where I've tried to do taking out the trash or command grab and failed miserably, either because they double jumped or because they used a move like Chun-Li's kicks that completely canceled it out. Oh well, there goes She-Hulk. She's down. Now watch this. He calls in his spring. Here comes Deadpool, who has no more teleports. And he activates his teleport, so it explodes. Now he's got his teleports back, and he was safe that whole time because he was protected by that spring. That was some really intelligent thinking right there, so props to this guy. But now he has no more teleports again. So Deadpool's just about down. All I have to do is hit him one more time. I have no high-low mix-ups anymore, but I managed to grab him. So now all that's left is Rocket Raccoon. All he needs to do is lower his guard one more time. And that's it. So thank you guys very much for watching this edition of Courtroom Drama. This is Kagato, the final boss, and I will see you next week.